To be able to watch pretty much any TV program, documentary, series, movie in, high quality, what you need is, if you have access to the internet and a device like a phone or a computer, first thing you need to do is to have a free VPN. If you are paying for a VPN, a virtual private network, then you're telling someone you're doing something illegal. And they then tell America. A free VPN, the simplest one to get, is called an onion browser. If you do a search for the Tor, T-O-R, project or free onion browser, it will show you where you can get it. It's a very simple link. It's a small application that installs a web browser on your device. And it randomly pre-selects your location for anywhere around the planet. It means that you do not get blocked if you want to go onto certain websites that you're not allowed to, like porn or torrent sites. For the purpose of this video, I'm talking about torrent sites. A torrent, with regard to technology, is a data file. It can be audio, it can be video, it can be an application, it can be a program, anything that is a form of media. Once you have your VPN, you can then have to get two things. One is called a torrent downloader. This application is simply to allow you to download torrent files. There are different ones you can get. You can get BitTorrent, is a very common one. The one that I use, because it has zero advertising, is called QBitTorrent. So if you do a search for QBitTorrent, it will give you an application to install. It doesn't force you to do updates. There's no advertising on it. It's a very simple, basic application to facilitate the downloads of files. Once you have this, you then use your VPN as a web browser and you go to torrent sites. A torrent site is it's like a library. And they will have links, how to explain it? A torrent site, it's not where they store the information. It is where they allow other people to store information. There are two numbers to think about when you see the information on a torrent: seeds and peers. A seed is how many people are currently connected to that site with a copy of that file. If one person has a copy, it will take you a long time to download it from the torrent site via their source. If 100,000 people have it, it will download a lot faster. Those are your seeds. Peers are how many people are currently trying to download it. So the more people trying to download it, the slower it will be. I'll give you an example. I have the cheapest internet in England, £10 a month for unlimited broadband, and it would take me maybe 3 hours, depending on the time of day, to download a 2 gig movie or a TV series. The most well known of the, I'm not going to say about the ones that are spammed, but the one that is at the moment the easiest, most reliable to use is called Pirate Bay. Now Pirate Bay has different names, and I will find the current naming for you. Just 1 second. Yep, the Pirate Bay. So the web address for Pirate Bay is thepiratebay.org. Thepiratebay.org. If you try to type that in with a normal web browser, it will probably block you. So you use your VPN browser, or you can use something like a third-party browser like Midori, Midori. That's a recent affiliate of Firefox, and it'll work, but it's not as, I'm digressing. Once you go to your source, your torrent site like Pirate Bay, all you do is you just type in a search for whatever you want to look for, and it will give you a listing of different qualities, different versions. You can get movies going back to the dawn of time. You can get TV series that have only just been released. You can get TV series that are very obscure, like Sapphire and Steel. You can get different qualities of movies. Now, if you go by internet law, which shouldn't exist, you can get in trouble for doing this. However, under English law, it is not a criminal offence to download a movie from the internet unless you are otherwise going to go and buy it. So as the internet is governed by American law, which is an actual war crime, then you could get in trouble for it. So when you select your torrent, such as at the moment I'm downloading Dexter, you select it, you click download, it will open the file. You may have to click to allow it to open the file in your torrent downloader, and it will just download. The only actual setting you might want to concern about is if you right-click on the file in your torrent downloader, and you'll get the option of torrent options. Click on torrent options, and you will see your torrent speed limit. It's different in different browsers, but it's basically the same thing. Your download rate, you want to have either an asterisk or a symbol. This means there is no limit to how fast it can be downloaded. Your upload limit, you're not allowed to have 0, because the whole point of this, the reason why it's free, is that people are sharing it. So the minimum upload speed will be 1 kilobyte per second. Or if you want, you have it as maximum. And that is how, very simply, you can actually get any TV program, any movie. Yes, you can get porn and applications and games and all sorts of stuff as well, for free, as long as you have the internet. But there are things you have to be aware of, is that you may get spammed if you click on the wrong torrent website. The Qbit torrent downloader that I use, I don't get spammed, you have to update, there's none of that happening with this application. But what you might have trouble with, if you go to a downloader site, the piratebay.org is fine. You'll get pop-ups. So a pop-up is when you click on the screen and a new window will pop up and try to advertise something. It might be porn, it might be a VPN, or it's just trying to advertise stuff. Just close that when it pops up and ignore it. That's how they fund the torrent site. It's like this pop-up. It's not installing spyware on your device. It's just trying to advertise something. Some of them are horrendous for this, and they're unusable. A good example is called 1337X. That used to be a brilliant torrent downloader site, but right now it is completely blocked with spam. The reason why it's blocked with spam is not the website who's doing it, it's governments who are doing it. You see, these torrent sites use what is called a mirror site. Now, a mirror site is, how to explain? You're not looking at the website when you're looking at the website. You're not interacting with the website when you're interacting with the website. What you're actually doing is interacting with and looking at a mirrored version of the website. The website will be in Pakistan. But what you're looking at is a local source reflection of it. What this means is that the government can shut down the mirror, but they cannot shut down the original. That is why the Pirate Bay has been around for 25 years, never shut down. But this does mean they can put a block over it with things, so when you click on the window, you get a pop-up advertising something. It can be a bit annoying, but it's not harmful. But it's a very good resource if you want to get hold of things that are illegal for stupid reasons. For example, the science fiction books of L. Ron Hubbard. He was vilified for Scientology, which is a lot of crap. He was vilified not for Scientology, he was vilified because he outed Jeffrey Epstein 40 years ago. And as a consequence of him outing it, he was gotten rid of and he was vilified. And he still is vilified in all media. In games, shows, he's still vilified. So is Scientology. Simply because he outed Jeffrey Epstein 40 years ago in his science fiction books. He named him, he said about the paedophile rape gangs, the grooming, the trafficking, the using drugs on royal family members. And so that was a good example. Because you cannot buy his books, his science fiction books, anywhere in NATO. You can go to a shop, oh, we can get it on back order, we can get it. They won't, they're lying. They want a deposit and you'll never see the book. Because they'll just say it's out of print or it's in our next store in the next town. But it is physically impossible to get a copy of The Invader's Plan, which is the first book in the science fiction decology. What's it called? The Invaders, something or other. The Mission Earth decology, series of 10 books. And Battlefield Earth, another book. Best book I've ever read. But they're banned. No, sorry, they're not banned. They're just out of print for 40 fucking years. But if you go onto a torrent site, you can download them. You can not just download them as a book to read, we can download them as an audiobook. I've actually reread them and posted them online myself as audiobooks for other people to read and listen to. That's a good example. These things that are banned, not because they're offensive to people, but because they state factual information against the controlling agenda. Another good example is a spin-off TV series to The X-Files was called The Lone Gunman. And the pilot episode is banned. It has been, whenever it appears, it gets deleted. And the reason for this is that the storyline for the pilot episode was the government in America remote controls 2 aircraft, passenger airplanes, and they crash them into the Twin Towers. So they can have more control over the people, more gun control, sell more weapons, more laws, more control. And of course, Fox Mulder burst out at the last minute. That happened 6 months, I think it was broadcast 6 months or 18 months before the Twin Towers got twatted. You can't get it anywhere, you can't buy it in any shop, but you can download it online. So that is a not very quick version of how to get any TV program, show, movie, music, yes, porn. You won't get the dodgy porn on the pirate bay. You'll get your hardcore porn, you'll get your normal porn, you'll get your kind of porn. The dodgiest you'll get porn-wise on these kind of sites, well, at least what I've seen, is either going to be anime, which is generally pixelated, or it'll be things like, oh no, security guard caught me shoplifting, I must fucking stop this, stop going to the police, that kind of thing. So you won't actually get anything underage, you won't get anything like that. You can't even do a search for rape on some of these torrent sites. They won't let you. They'll just say no results found. So it can be a little bit restricted in that way. But if you know the title of a particular movie that is race orientated, you can type in the movie title. Last House on the Left is one of the more famous ones. It's actually a crap movie by Wes Craven. Before he did horror, he did sexploitation. maybe it's famous for put it right through. And yes, 50 years ago it would have been scary. These days it's rare. So you do get a lot of stuff on there, movie-wise, that has been banned, and some of it's been banned for very good reasons. A good example of that was the movie. I'm not going to say the title of, because it's I think it was Swedish, made in the 1970s. This is M, and it had actual 9-year-olds, and it was not simulated in any way, shape, or form. And that's all I'm saying about that. But if you go to type one of these movies, you can find it. But you can't find it by doing a search for whatever dodgy word it is. I mean, my main thing, I go for is movies. And TV series. I don't pay to watch stuff, I never have, and never will. Considering just how formulaic everything is these days. White people are portrayed as evil, the ongoing theme of treating white girls have to be jumped up, one blatant of which has to be Chucky. First, I don't know how bigger up that, so the first two are actually sent, and then had all this druggy stuff. Anyway, to sum up, you made it this far. Get yourself a VPN, a free one. It is called an Onion browser. Rather ironically, it was developed by some British guys working for the CIA about 50 years ago, which they actually used to encrypt their own information to transfer it from America to Europe and through RAF in England. The RAF base in England, so the RAF are not allowed to go. But yeah, you get yourself a free VPN from the Tor project or an Onion browser, or Midori is another one you could use. It's not an Onion browser, but it is a similar thing. You can then get yourself a torrent downloader, which is basically your tape recorder, if you want to use a really, really old acronym. I use Qbit torrent. And you then go to a torrent website and you download stuff. I'll give you a few more torrent websites. You've got thepiratebay.org. I can't write these down on screen because it will be deleted automatically by censorship. You try typing in 1337X on Facebook and it won't let you. It will just delete it automatically. So another torrent site I found recently that's actually seems quite good. There's no pop-ups at the moment, and it is called Unidex. That's UINDEX.org. .org stands for organization, which means it could be somebody with a big computer they're using as their own personal server to represent a mirror site for other people to transfer files, which sounds confusing. Sorry about that. Other ones that are quite popular that have been around for quite a while. Cat is another one that's quite good. Although Cat is starting to get a bit more. There's what you can click on a verification before you can access the site. Cat is short for KitKass. So KITKASS.PIRATEI.org. The verify your identity on click on. It's not a big issue. and he's being really, oh, yes, he's lovely, delicious, but really paedophile type creepy with it. A lot of it was being broadcast live. This is the 1970s, 1980s. It would be broadcast live on a Saturday afternoon. Now, I remember one very clearly because at the time I was, I think, about 13, and it was in Somerset. And he was judging a bikini beauty pageant, and it's all live. And you can clearly hear a director saying to a girl, don't tell him your real age, tell him you're 13. But I'm 11. And she's there wearing a skinny bikini, and he had, oh, they're golden big down here, don't they? I just rest my face here for a while. And he actually laid his face on this 11-year-old girl's tit while she's wearing a bikini. So you can't see that on a Google search. But if you go to a torrent site, and if you can type in the right words, Terry Wogan teen beauty pageants, you will actually get several terabytes of him judging these children in their bikinis. So yes, when they do a surface delete of information, it's literally the surface web, which is something like 0.0059% of the internet. It's basically 0.005% is what they're actually working on. The other 99.999999999% of the internet, they don't touch. They can't. Because the way the internet works is via compilation of cookies. Cookies work by automatically uploading everything they can access, whether through cameras, through documents, through historical archives, current media, news reports. Everything is documented and automatically uploaded to the internet. This is what's called the dark web. The dark web is not some evil, nasty place where Oompa Loompas live and bugger each other with gerbils. The dark web is very simply the part of the internet that America does not control. That's all the dark web is. It's that part of the internet that America does not have direct control over. And if you think something like rumble.com, which is a media platform, oh, they don't control that. Every single form of media that you legitimately have access to, without using a VPN, is either directly owned or controlled by Jewish people. It doesn't matter if it's the BBC, CNN, Fox, Rumble, YouTube, they're all owned or controlled by Jewish people. Unless using a VPN and you can physically type in yourself the site you're looking for. Safe to say, I do tend to waffle on a little bit. Yeah.
Like, comment, subscribe.